Good morning. God said to me once, choose your battles carefully. And I said, okay. And I said, I'll take this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one. And then she said, now put some back. So I said, okay. Put back this one, this one, this one, and another few. Okay, this one and this one. And I put back all the small ones. Because as Winston Churchill said, like, if you stop to throw a stone at every dog that barks, you're not going to get very far. And I put back all the small ones because they're really insignificant and they only serve as distractions from the goal. And they only take your fucking attention to people who want your attention and want to control you and want your bloody attention. And maybe because they fuck all that's going on in your life, but they want your attention in any shape, way or form. They're like bold kids, like bold kids. Do you ever see a bold kid when you're on the phone and it starts to play up and act up because it wants your attention, it wants your undivided attention? They're like bold kids. They don't change. They're just like bold kids. And the thing is that once you realise that these people, well, not once you realise, once you come to the conclusion that these people are of no use to you, they are of no use to you, they're of no, what do you want? There's no passengers, there's no hangers on. You don't need these people, like, so they become insignificant, non-player characters, NPCs. They become NPCs, and once they become NPCs, I couldn't be bothered my arse with them. Like, why would I bother my arse with them? Why would I bother wasting my energy on them? Because they become, as I say, distractions, and the more you allow them to become a distraction, the more distraction they'll become. But you can become completely indifferent to them, completely indifferent to them and their actions. Cognitive dissonance towards them. Cognitive dissonance in that you're nearly oblivious to them and their actions. They can do what the fuck they like. And in that way, if you don't attach yourself to, say, anything that's of any significance to them, like, for example, well, I will say this is not my hostel. I don't attach to this hostel. I look after the place. I clean the place, and I clean it 40 times if I have to. But that's no big problem. But then they can shite in the floor there, and it absolutely will not bother me. I'll fucking clean it, but it will not bother me. Do you know what I'm saying? Cognitive dissonance. It doesn't matter what they do. It's irrelevant. It's completely irrelevant. But they're not getting my. Basically, they don't get to control you, they don't get to anger you, they don't get to upset you, they don't get to make you sad, happy, anything else. You're completely oblivious to them. They're insignificant. And then I thought to myself, would I act with malice intent? And I thought about this all day. Would I act with malice intent? In other words, would I move against them? But that's a battle. Now, that's a battle. And this is why I had to remember this, put some back. You know what I mean? Put some back. Because I had to say to myself, well, how many battles are you taking on here? Like, you know what I mean? And they're just serving as distractions from the one big battle, the one big game of which I have a strategy for. And they're just distractions from the strategy. And I said to myself, I really don't need this shit, because this is the sort of shit that takes your focus. And so the whole thing, the whole skill is not to let it take your focus. And this is strategy. This in itself is strategy. Like, you have to hold your line. And then to move against him, even with malice intent, you have to remember two things. Number one, it's racing with a bladed chariot. I'll talk about that in a second. Racing with a bladed chariot, because when you're racing with a bladed chariot, you spend your whole fucking race trying to do in everyone else. But you're not focused on what is within your control. You're not focused on winning your race. You're focused on doing in everyone else. And that never ends well. And plus you have to factor in that mind does to you what you do to others. And really, it's your opinion of whether you like him or not is completely irrelevant. And to just move and act on a stupid opinion that you don't like him for whatever reason, like because of your opinion about him, is just ridiculous strategy, So cognitive dissonance, I decided, is the best thing. I wrote an essay before on chariot racing, See if I can remember more. What I can remember of it. I said that you have to choose your team of horses really well. But that's the first thing. But when it comes to winning a chariot race, the first thing is to choose your team of horses really well. You need a slow horse on the inside and a fast horse on the outside. A slow and steady horse on the inside, just a steady horse on the inside, and a fast, high-spirited horse on the outside. Because the slow horse will get you through the turns, and the fast horse will make up the pace on the straights. But if you have two fast horses, you won't make the turns. If you have two slow horses, you're not going to win the race. You need a slow horse on the inside, fast horse on the outside. You have to choose your horses well, look after your horses. You have to make sure they're well shod, well fed, well looked after, well housed, everything. You have to look after your horses because you have to work as a team. So it's important, like that you work as one unit. One unit. It's not you and the horses. It's you work as one unit. You, the horse, the chariot, everything is one unit. Heidegger talked about this again, I talked about this before, but this is an amalgamation of atoms. It's, they're a configuration of atoms, the chariot is a configuration of atoms, you're a configuration of atoms, and it's alchemy in that she all gel together and work together, amalgamate in order to work as one unit. And when you have this, you can work as one unit, then you're in business. It's like Socrates used to say, can you separate the dancer from the dance? You can't separate the dancer from the dance. So you work as one unit, and then, as I say, don't race with a bladed chariot, because this you'll spend your whole race trying to do in everyone else. I say also, well, yeah, I'm just trying to remember this as I go, but hold your line in the middle of the track. The middle of the track is the best place to hold your line, because then you can hold this line, and you need to hold this line, because if you race on the inside, or you find yourself on the inside on the corners, you're going to run the walls. You're going to be boxed in on the corners. Everyone else will, as you go around the corner, everyone else is going to cut you in on the corner. You can't follow a line through the corner. Everybody else will take the inside line, which will cut you off. Don't run on the outside of the line going through the corners, because you'll run the walls. Everyone will be. Anyone who swings wide will push you into the wall. You'll run the walls and the outside. You have to hold your line in the middle of the track, and then you can use both sides as necessary. You have to know when to go, and you have to know when to hold back. This is really, really important, to be able to know when to hold back and when to go. What else did I say about the chariot racing? You can race with one horse, you can race with two horses, which is usual. You can race with 6 horses, or you can race with up to 10 horses if you have enough skill. But this takes great skill and confidence to be able to race with 10 horses. And to keep and everything work as a team, and everything work as a unit. But can you imagine how majestic this would look? 10 horses pulling a chariot coming down the track. 10 horses would look like, if you can just picture this, 10 horses coming down the straight. This would be a magnificent sight. 10 horses coming down the straight to win the race. Like it'd be a magnificent sight. I think that would be spectacular. But what else did I say then about the chariot racing? I said if you get mangled, you have to have the courage to get up and race again, because there's a good chance you will get mangled when you don't race. You can't have the reins until you're able to race. So you have to learn how to race first, and then you can start to take the reins. But you can't have the reins until you're able to race. You leave them with your soul, so to speak, and that's even if you have a soul. But if you don't have a soul, like I say, if you're a sheep, you have to learn how to race before you can have the reins. You have to learn, you have to learn. For example, if you want to do business, you have to learn business. You have to be competent. You have to be competent. No matter what you want to do, you have to make sure you're competent. Otherwise, your ego exceeds your ability. And if your ego exceeds your ability, it's like feeding in the sun chariot. You're going to get fucking mangled. Like, I don't know if you know that story, but feeding in the sun chariot. You could nearly Google it, but basically it was Titan, this was the sun god. He used to race the chariot across the sky. He used to pull the sun chariot across the sky, and this is what used to light up the sky in the morning, and then he used to bring it home at night. So things used to get dark. It was the sun. It was the sun chariot. This is Greek mythology. But his son anyway. He had a son who he used to tell people the Titan was his father, and people used to disbelieve him, and people wouldn't believe him. So he went along to Titan, the sun god, and he said to me, "No, people don't believe that I'm your father. Are you my father and all?" And he says, "Yeah, I'm your father and all." And he said, "Well, you need to prove it. I need to be able to prove it to other people that you're my father, because no one believes that you're my father." So he said, "I'll give you one wish." So the young lad Phaeton said, "Well, can I drive the sun chariot? You know what I mean? Can I drive the sun chariot? I want to drive the sun chariot tomorrow morning." And the father said, "No, no way, no way. You can't drive the sun chariot. Don't have enough skill to drive the sun chariot. Ask me for anything else. Anything else. I'll give you anything else, just not that." But the young lad, being as egotistical and as headstrong as he was, said, "No, no, I want to drive the sun chariot. You promise me anything I want, and I go on to drive the sun chariot." So the father relented anyway and said, "Right, drive the sun chariot." He gave him instructions not to drive too low and not to drive too high. But when the young lad got into the sky, this is keeping it short, when the young lad got into the chariot and he's pulling the chariot across the sky, the horses realised that he didn't have the strength, or he didn't have the knowledge to control the horses. He wasn't fit to drive the chariot. So they just did what they fucking liked. And they drove too low in the scorched earth. This was Africa. They went too high in the frozen earth. This is Iceland and the North Pole and all this. They froze the earth, scorched the earth, froze the earth, and then when the sea started to dry up and the land started to scorch, they called out to Zeus. What the fuck is going on? You know what I mean? We're being roasted, we've been froze, what's going on? What's going on with the sun chariot? So Zeus looked out and saw the young lad driving the sun chariot. He threw down a lightning bolt and killed him stone dead. Just knocked him out of the chariot, just knocked him out of the sky and killed him stone dead. And it's the same thing. This was a very important story for me, because I used to do this a good bit. We a lot of businesses are initially like, but then again, as I say, you can't learn how to race without racing. You have to race in order to learn how to race, and you have to get mangled, and then you have to have the courage to get back up. But this was a thing with me in a lot of businesses. My ego exceeded my ability. It was basically like, give us a job, give us 2 jobs. You know what I mean? That's why I don't want to be racist, but that's like a certain... what do I call them? They're not an ethnic minority as such, because they're not really a minority as such, but a certain race are like this. You know what I mean? They give us a job, give us 2 jobs, give us a job, I can do that. Give us a job, I can do that. They want to, yeah. Plato called it mutiny on the bounty. Well, it wasn't mutiny on the bounty, but it was sort of mutiny on the bounty was the same thing as what Plato said. They want to. It wasn't mutiny on the bounty as such, but it was mutiny on the ship. They wanted to take over the ship, but they can't sail the ship. You know what I mean? They want to take over the ship. They want to overthrow the crew and take over the ship, but then they find they can't sail the ship. And this is quite common in modern society. We're getting a lot of it now lately with this whole fucking racism card and this whole thing. And you get it sort of with the feminists as well. Like, there was a girl who said to me last night about the feminists, but I don't want to be a feminist, because I don't want to impose on their hierarchical system at all. They can sail their own fucking ship. I'll get my own fucking ship and sail my own ship. I don't want to impose myself on their hierarchical systems at all. I want to build my own hierarchical systems. But basically, you have to be very careful of this. The ego exceeding the ability. You have to learn. You have to be willing to learn. But then again, that's why I'm in Stoicism we say a little better every day. A little better every day. This is the Stoic way. A little better every day, and that's why I'm perfectly happy to clean and everything else. There's one thing my soul keeps telling me, you know, stay humble, stay humble, stay humble, because we don't really want another rendition of this ego exceeding my ability. Uh, so stay humble, and that's quite a job to keep me humble, but it's managing it quite well. that's why, that's why I'm poor as shit. You know what I mean? Everything with reason. Listen, I make all my time's up. Bye.